We briefly went positive on the Dow, so this is a pretty good open overall. A lot to deal with here. We've got the weak Chinese exports. We've got this whole Iran issue, scaling back some of its commitments. But obviously, trade matters. I just want to show you the futures pre-open to see how we get smacked around by trade headlines. We had that big Reuters story around 4:30 in the morning about China backtracking on nearly all aspects of the trade deal. That just dropped the market for the next hour or so. Then the president tweeted out just prior to the opening about an hour ago that China's informed us that the vice premier is now coming to the U.S. to make a deal. That was sort of the big thing. And we saw the little spike there. So you see how we're getting smacked around by every tweet and every headline in terms of how it affects the markets. If you look at trade and tariff stocks this morning, slightly to the downside at the open. So some of these names, Best Buy, Qualcomm, Deere, Micron that we mentioned, fractionally down. UTX is positive, though. 3M is positive. That's one of the reasons the Dow moved up. Some of the industrial names were moving on the upside. Sectors, still a little weakness of what you would think in the semiconductor sector. Materials flat. Energy's gone positive. REITs are positive. So you see this is much better open than we had yesterday. Still a lot of uncertainty. I'll tell you how it's very obvious to a market watcher. The market's totally confused. The VIX futures are in backwardation. All right, what does this mean? The front month futures contract, which is that second one there at 1850, that is higher than contracts further out. That's called backwardation. That means that traders who are buying protection think that things are going to be crazy in the next 2 weeks, but less crazy going out. That's called backwardation. It's very unusual, often associated with market bottoms. I would say here, they just don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's very hard to game what's going to happen with these trade talks, and that's part of the issue that we have, figuring out the outcomes. So there's three basic outcomes everybody keeps talking about down here. One is you get a trade deal, and everybody goes home happy. The second is there's no trade deal, but there's no increase in tariffs also, and we just say we're going to continue the negotiations. And the third is then we get no trade deal at all with an increase in the tariffs, and everybody goes home unhappy. The markets would be very happy with the first one, probably okay with the second one, and definitely not happy with the third one. You can see why everybody's confused, and the VIX futures are all over the place because it's hard to gain the outcomes. And I guess we're just going to have to wait. That's the bottom line. Meantime, big IPO today. Parsons, this would be a huge deal if it wasn't for the Uber deal in front of us. This is one of the biggest government contractors in the world. These guys do everything. They're like Booz Allen. They're involved in all aspects of government assistance here. $27 right in the middle. This is a $500 million deal. Obviously, Uber's an $8.5 billion deal, so it's getting overshadowed. But keep an eye on this one. I anticipate this will have a nice open as well. Finally, I don't know what's in the water supply, but everybody keeps asking me if it's possible Uber could postpone the IPO. I don't understand the logic of this. It is certainly possible. Companies have cited in the past market conditions and decided to postpone for a few days or a week because the markets are bad, and that could influence that. But this is not a typical IPO. This is not a $75 million biotech IPO. This is a high-stakes, high-visibility IPO. And if they tried to postpone it, it would not be perceived as, oh, the markets are weak, they're going to postpone it. It would be perceived as a sign of weakness. It would be perceived that, oh, maybe the demand's not there for the price range they want, and that would certainly be a bad signal for everybody else. So I can't imagine a scenario, absent a complete meltdown, where they would decide to do that. This deal looks like it's going to definitely go. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Right now, we just went positive on the Dow Jones Industrial Hours.